Hello children, welcome to the online classes. Today let's learn a new topic. Children, if we observe in our surroundings, so many organisms are there, thousands and thousands of species are there, isn't it? Suppose you look at your friends or your classmates, you can observe them, they resemble their parents, isn't it? All of us, in one way or the other, we resemble our parents. For example, skin complexion may be fair or dark. If parents are fair, the child may be fair, and if the parents are dark, the child may be dark. And hair may be curly hair or soft hair, color of the eyes, height. Some parents are tall, the child also will be tall. If some parents are short, the child may be short, like that. We can observe so many resemblances of children with their parents. In our surroundings only, we can observe these many resemblances, isn't it? How is it possible for a child to look like his or her parent? To understand that, let us study a new topic today, that is heredity and evolution. What is heredity and what is evolution? Heredity. Heredity means the transfer of parental characters to the young ones is called heredity. Certain characteristics, they are transferred from parent to the young one. How are they transferred? Already you have learnt in 9th class cell and its structure. In the cell there is cytoplasm, and in the center of the cell there is a nucleus. The nucleus has chromosomes. Chromosomes carry genes. On the genes there is a hereditary material, that is DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. This DNA is responsible for the transfer of parental characteristics to the young ones. The transfer of parental characteristics to the young ones is called heredity. That is why they look similar. In so many cases, there are a lot of resemblances. Sometimes there are variations also. Not only human beings, it may be a plant or an animal or whatever it is. They resemble their parents, and at the same time they show some variations. Some differences also are there, isn't it? Why these variations occur? What is the reason for these differences? What is the reason for the sudden appearance of these variations? Mainly it may be because of the availability of food or environmental conditions in which it lives. I'm not talking not only about human beings, every organism, either a plant or an animal, isn't it? How these variations occur? Suppose there are some organisms, they live in extreme environmental conditions like polar ice caps, and some live in very, very hot deserts, some live in springs, and some live at the mountain top. Some organisms, they are marine, they live completely in seawater which is very salty. Like that, there are different habitats on this earth. In that habitat, that organism wants to live successfully, doesn't want to die. Any organism doesn't want to die. It wants to live. So to live successfully, to adapt itself to that particular environment, the organism exhibits some variations. It adapts itself. It shows some new characteristics. It itself develops some new characteristics. Developing certain new characteristics is called adaptation. And as a result of adaptation, a completely new organism also may evolve from a particular species. There is a 100% chance of evolution of a new organism from the existing ones based on the availability of food or based on the environmental conditions where they live. So, as a result of variations that occur in living organisms, a new organism evolves. That is why heredity and evolution are given together in the same lesson. So let's know what is heredity. Heredity is nothing but the transfer of parental characters to young ones. That is called heredity. For this heredity, DNA is responsible. It plays a major role. And for a long time, not only biologists, for a long time, they didn't understand how these characteristics are transferred to the young ones. Later, Gregor John Mendel, he was a science and mathematics graduate from the University of Vienna. Actually, he wanted to become a teacher, but he failed in the teaching certification examination. So he didn't lose hope. He started growing pea plants in his garden. He wanted to study about the transfer of these characteristics, about heredity, how it is happening. So he started growing them. Why he selected pea plants? Because in the pea plants he observed a lot of contrasting characteristics. What are the contrasting characteristics he observed are the length of the plant, tall plants and short plants, tall pea plants and short pea plants, and the plants with wrinkled seeds and round seeds. Completely contrasting character, isn't it? Wrinkled seeds which are wrinkled and koncham muddalu unna seeds anamata. Round seeds, they are completely different from each other. And the flowers, if we consider the flowers, some pea plants have white flowers and some pea plants have violet flowers. So he selected pea plants with completely contrasting characteristics and he cross-fertilized them. He took a tall pea plant, it is a tall pea plant, say for example, it's a tall pea plant, and he cross-fertilized this tall pea plant with a short pea plant. So he thought that the next generation, obviously, he thought that in the next generation he gets some tall and some short or some medium sized plants. He expected when he cross-fertilized a tall pea plant with a short pea plant, in the next generation, this is say for example, this is F1 generation. In this generation, he got tall plants. How he is getting all tall plants? Actually, he expected some medium-sized plants because this has a tall characteristic, isn't it? And this has short. This is trait or characteristic. T-R-A-I-T, trait. T-R-A-I-T, trait means characteristic. The tallness is represented as capital T, short as small t. So when he cross-fertilized these two, actually he expected all medium-sized plants because this is having tall characteristics and this is having short characteristic. So he expected, but for his surprise, he got all tall plants. This is F1 generation. And then what did he do? He didn't stop there. He self-fertilized them. This tall plant of F1 generation was self-fertilized. Self-fertilized means self-pollination, self-pollinated. When this pea plant was self-fertilized, in the next generation, he expected all tall plants. But for his surprise again, he got some tall plants and some short. What is this? He got some tall plants and some short plants. Then he understood that in the F1 generation, he obtained all tall plants. In those tall plants, both the traits T and T are present. Both the traits were transferred. But why this trait is not seen? Because it is recessive. This tall trait is dominant. This is dominant. The tall characteristic is dominant and short characteristic is recessive. So it is hidden. It was not observed. But the gene that carries the short trait or short characteristic is there in that tall plant. Actually, this is the tall parent plant which is self-fertilized from F1 generation. Suppose this is the tall plant which is self-fertilized from the F1 generation. In F1 generation, he cross-fertilized a tall plant, a pure tall plant with a pure short plant. And he expected the offspring to be either medium sized or some tall, some short. But he didn't obtain like that. All the plants were tall. All the offspring or young ones were tall. So that was F1 generation. Then he self-fertilized the F1 generation plant. He selected and self-fertilized. Then after self-fertilization, he obtained some tall plants and some short. How did he get these? In the ratio 3:1. In the ratio 3:1. In 3:1 ratio, 3 tall plants, 1 short plant. I am giving 3:1, so I have drawn 3 and 1 plant. You can draw 6 plants and 2 plants here, or 9 and 3 here, like that. There may be in a garden means hundreds of plants, but the ratio does not change. 3:1 ratio. 3 tall plants and 1 short plant. How did he get? He wondered. So, by observing the F1 generation plants, he put forward the theory, law of dominance. Means the dominating character, that is tall T, is hiding the shortness, the gene that is carrying the short characteristic. But both are there in F1 generation plants. That F1 generation plant, as it is having both traits, tallness and shortness, In the next F2, this is F2 generation. In F2 generation, this is F2 generation with some tall plants and some short plants. How this is possible? As I said, in F1 generation, then he gave another theory, another hypothesis, that is law of segregation. Law of segregation. In F1 generation, the tall plant which is allowed to self-fertilize and give rise to some new tall plants and short plants in 3:1 ratio, that plant from F1 generation which is self-fertilized, in that plant the male gametes, the characteristics tallness and shortness were segregated, separated. Completely a male gamete with tall characteristic and some male gametes, they got short characteristics separately, and some female gametes also got some tall characteristic and some short characteristic. In F1 generation, Gregor John Mendel selected two pea plants, one is tall and the other is short. Those two are the parent plants. He cross-fertilized them. When he cross-fertilized them, he got all tall plants. But what about the shortness? The short characteristic was also carried to these tall plants. But why is it not exhibited? Because it is a recessive character, hidden character. It's not dominating character. Tall is the dominating character. That is why all the F1 generation plants were tall. In such a manner, he gave the law of dominance, and he concluded that dominating character will be transmitted, and short character also will be transmitted, but it will be dominated by the dominating character, and this recessive character will be hidden. But the gene responsible for the recessive character is present in that generation, in F1 generation. So, law of dominance was given. Every biologist accepted that law of dominance. Yes, you are true. Then that is why he was considered as the father of genetics, isn't it? Next, afterwards, from F1 generation, the plant, he took that plant and he self-fertilized. When he self-fertilized that plant, he got some tall plants and some short plants. By that he came to the conclusion the characteristic tallness and shortness were segregated. After that he gave law of segregation. Law of segregation. Segregation means separation. The characteristic which is present in the F1 generation plant, both tallness and shortness, it was carried, it was separated, and when the male and female gametes are formed in that plant, completely some male gametes got tall characteristic, some male gametes got short characteristic, completely different. Together they didn't receive. A male gamete is the pollen grain. It didn't receive both tallness and shortness characteristics, the genes responsible for those. It received only the genes which are carrying the dominating character T, and some gametes, some male gametes, they received the genes which are carrying shortness, and some female gametes, this is the male gamete and this is the female gamete. If we represent them in a table, see, here this is male and this is female. Male gamete, female gamete, male gamete with tall characteristic and short characteristic. Female gamete with tall characteristic and short characteristic. Yes? Completely separated. One pollen grain is carrying the genes responsible for only the dominating character tallness. Some gametes are carrying the genes responsible for the recessive character shortness. So, if we represent them in a table, there is a possibility of a male gamete and female gamete forming in the next generation TT. And here this one with this female gamete and male gamete fuse to form a new plant with a capital T and a small t. And here this is the female gamete with recessive character T, and it fuses with the male gamete and forms, and this one small t small t. Small t means shortness. Capital T pure tall. And this one capital T small t, how it will be the plant? It will be tall, and this will be tall. Here also one dominating character is there, tall. Dominating gene is there means it will be tall only. So here pure tall. Here is it pure tall? No. This is homozygous. We can consider this as homozygous or pure tall. This plant is developed as a result of the fusion of female gamete and male gamete which have dominating gene. And this plant is formed as a result of the fusion of a female gamete with the dominating character and a male gamete with a recessive character. So, this is heterozygous. Though it is heterozygous, it is tall. Shortness is not observed here because it is a recessive character. And this is also here, capital T is there, so it is also tall because dominating character is there. This is purely short. Here no capital T at all. So how many tall plants are there? How many capital T's are there here? 1, 2, 3. Means 3 tall plants. And how many short plants? 1 short plant. Is it right? Tally ayinda indak manam cheppindi idi compulsory tally avutundi. So 3:1. This is phenotypic ratio. It is called phenotypic ratio. Ante పైన మనం కనపడే ఎక్స్టర్నల్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ ని బట్టి 3 టాల్ ప్లాంట్స్ వచ్చాయి, 1 షార్ట్ ప్లాంట్ వచ్చింది, లేకపోతే 6 టాల్ ప్లాంట్స్ 2 షార్ట్ ప్లాంట్స్ అంటే 3:1 రేషియోలో వచ్చాయి అనేది మనం ఫీనోటైపిక్ రేషియో వీ కెన్ కన్సిడర్ ఇట్ యాజ్. బట్ మనం ఇక్కడ చూసుకుంటే కనుక ప్యూర్ టాల్, దిస్ ఈస్ ప్యూర్ టాల్. ఎలా? జీన్స్. ఇఫ్ వీ టేక్ ఇన్ టు కన్సిడరేషన్ ద జీన్స్, here capital T 1 pure tall plant, homozygous, not heterozygous. This is also tall plant, this is also tall plant, but this is pure tall, this is not a pure tall plant. This is homozygous, means both the genes are carrying the dominating character. Here the gene is carrying one dominating character, one recessive character. And here also one dominating character, one recessive character. Here both recessive characters. So this is pure tall 1. And heterozygous, tall plant, but heterozygous. Heterozygous, how many are there? 2 are there. This one pure short 1. So 1:2:1. This is genotypic ratio. Genotypic ratio. When if we consider the genes, then it is called genotypic ratio. If we consider the external features and give the ratio, that is phenotypic ratio. This is based on especially only on the morphological characters, external characteristics. But this ratio is given based on the presence of either homozygous or heterozygous. Homozygous means pure dominant or pure recessive. Heterozygous means one dominating gene is there, one recessive. One dominating, one recessive. If it is like that, heterozygous. So this is pure tall pea plant, pure short pea plant, and these two are tall pure pea plants only, but heterozygous. One gene is having recessive characteristic and the other gene is having dominating characteristic. This is from male or this is from female, like that. Two means. Is it clear? So, Gregor John Mendel selected, I am telling tallness and shortness. It may be of wrinkled seed and round seed. If you take, round is the dominating character, wrinkleness is the recessive characteristic. So, dominating characteristic only it is represented by R, wrinkled small r. Then here in place of R, capital R, capital R, smaller, smaller, capital R, smaller, smaller. Anyway, we can write. If you take color, purple color or white, purple is the dominating, like that. So he selected pea plants with completely contrasting and completely opposite characteristics, and he cross-fertilized them. Then in the F1 generation, he got all tall plants. By that he came to the conclusion that the tall characteristic is there and the short characteristic also is there, but that shortness is recessive. It is hidden. The gene responsible for shortness is hidden. అది సప్రెస్ చేసేసింది డామినేటింగ్ క్యారెక్టర్. అందుకని అన్ని ప్లాంట్స్ టాల్ వచ్చాయి. Then what did he do from F1 generation? He self-fertilized that plant. Then he got some tall plants and some short plants, because in F1 generation both the genes responsible for tallness and shortness were there. Shortness ఎక్కడికి పోలేదు. ఫస్ట్ పేరెంట్స్ తీసుకున్నదే ఒక టాల్ ఒక షార్ట్, కానీ జనరేషన్ అంతా టాల్ వచ్చాయి, షార్ట్ రాలేదు. కానీ ఆ షార్ట్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్ ఉన్న జీన్ మాత్రం పాస్ ఆన్ అయ్యింది F1 జనరేషన్కి. ఈ F1 జనరేషన్ని సెల్ఫ్ ఫర్టిలైజ్ చేసినప్పుడు ఆ షార్ట్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్ జీన్ అనేది బయటపడింది. ఎలా బయటపడిందంటే 3:1 రేషియోలో మనకి కనిపించింది. అంటే 3:1 రేషియోలో వచ్చినాయి కాబట్టి ఓహో అయితే షార్ట్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్ కూడా ఈ F1 జనరేషన్ ప్లాంట్స్లో ఉంది. ఎందుకని మరి ఎగ్జిబిట్ అవ్వలేదు, ఎందుకని అన్ని టాల్ ప్లాంట్సే వచ్చాయి అని అతను ఆలోచించినప్పుడు అతనికి ఏం తట్టిందంటే టాల్నెస్ అనేది డామినేటింగ్ క్యారెక్టర్ కాబట్టి అదొకటే ఎగ్జిబిట్ అయింది. షార్ట్నెస్ అనేది రెసెసివ్ క్యారెక్టర్ కాబట్టి దాన్ని ఆ టాల్నెస్ సప్రెస్ చేసేసింది. కానీ ఆ జీన్ మాత్రం ఈ షార్ట్నెస్ని క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్ క్యారీ చేసే జీన్ మాత్రం ఉంది F1 జనరేషన్లో. దాన్ని సెల్ఫ్ ఫర్టిలైజ్ చేసినప్పుడు F2 జనరేషన్లో ఈ షార్ట్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్ అనే ప్లాంట్ కూడా మనకి వచ్చిందనమాట. సో ఎలా వచ్చింది అని అప్పుడు ఆలోచిస్తే ఆయనకి లా ఆఫ్ సెగ్రిగేషన్ ఇచ్చారు. దాన్ని బట్టి ఎలా వచ్చింది అని అంటే, మనం ఇప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ F1 జనరేషన్లో వచ్చిన టాల్ ప్లాంట్స్ అన్నిటినీ ఆయన సెల్ఫ్ ఫర్టిలైజ్ చేశారు కదా. సెల్ఫ్ ఫర్టిలైజ్ చేసినప్పుడు అందులో మేల్ గ్యామెట్ ఫీమేల్ గ్యామెట్ ఫ్యూజ్ అవ్వాలి. సో దీన్ని బట్టి కన్క్లూజన్కి ఏమొచ్చారు అంటే మేల్ గ్యామెట్ కంప్లీట్గా ఒక టాల్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్ జీన్తో ఉండొచ్చు, అంటే సెపరేట్ అయిపోయాయి. F1 జనరేషన్ ప్లాంట్స్లో ఏవైతే టాల్ క్యారెక్టర్ TT రెండు ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ అయినాయో అవి సెపరేట్ అయిపోయి ఈ గ్యామెట్స్ ఫార్మేషన్ అప్పుడు ఒక మేల్ గ్యామెట్ ఒక పోలెన్ గ్రెయిన్ కంప్లీట్గా టాల్నెస్ డామినేటింగ్ జీన్ తోటి, ఒక గ్యామెట్ ఏమో ఒకటే అని కాదు కొన్ని గ్యామెట్స్ కొన్ని మేల్ గ్యామెట్స్ ద జీన్ రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ ఫర్ టాల్నెస్ అనే దాన్ని క్యారీ చేస్తే, కొన్ని మేల్ గ్యామెట్స్ ఏమో the gene responsible for shortness, they carried those. Some female gamete ante ovum, ovule and plants lo aithe within the ovary ovules are there. So these ovules, konni ovules emo dominating character gene tho unnayi, konni ovules emo short. యాక్చువల్లీ రెండు కలిసి ఉన్నాయి కదా, కానీ ఈ గ్యామెట్స్ విషయంలో ఒకసారి సెపరేట్ అయిపోయి కంప్లీట్గా ఒక గ్యామిట్ ఏమో కంప్లీట్గా డామినేటింగ్ క్యారెక్టర్ జీన్ ఉంది, ఇంకో గ్యామిట్ ఏమో కంప్లీట్గా షార్ట్నెస్ క్యారీ చేసే జీన్స్ ఉన్నాయి. అంటే మేల్ గ్యామిట్లోనూ రెండు సెపరేట్గా ఉన్నాయి, ఫీమేల్ గ్యామిట్లో కూడా టాల్నెస్ షార్ట్నెస్ అనేవి సెపరేట్గా ఉన్నాయి. సో అలా చూసుకున్నప్పుడు మనం ఇది ఫీమేల్ గ్యామిట్, ఇది మేల్ గ్యామిట్ అనుకుంటే ఫీమేల్ గ్యామిట్లో టాల్నెస్ అండ్ షార్ట్నెస్, this is the female gamete ovule with the tall characteristic gene, and this is the ovule with the short characteristic gene, and this is the male gamete pollen grain అనుకుందాం. pollen grain లో ట్యూబ్ న్యూక్లియస్ జనరేటివ్ న్యూక్లియస్ ఉంటుంది, మీకు తెలుసు. జనరేటివ్ న్యూక్లియస్ అనుకోవచ్చు మీరు, బికాస్ యు నో pretty well already fertilization in flowers is over for us. సో ఇది డామినేటింగ్ క్యారెక్టర్, ఇది రెసెసివ్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్ ఉన్న ఫీమేల్ గ్యామెట్. ఇవి ఫ్యూజర్ సపోజ్ ఇది మేల్ అనుకోవచ్చు, ఇది ఫీమేల్, ఎలా అనుకున్నా పర్లేదు మీరు. సో ఇలా క్రాస్ అయినప్పుడు ఇది దీంతో ఫ్యూజ్ అయినప్పుడు కంప్లీట్గా హోమోజైగస్ టాల్ ప్లాంట్ ఫామ్ అయింది. ఇంకోటేమో హెటిరోజైగస్, దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో హెటిరోజైగస్ టాల్ ప్లాంట్. మొత్తం మీద 3 టాల్ ప్లాంట్సే. ఇది మాత్రం కంప్లీట్గా షార్ట్ ప్లాంట్, ఎందుకంటే దానిలో డామినేటింగ్ జీన్ అనేది లేనే లేదు. ఈ మూడిట్లో క్యాపిటల్ టీ ఉన్నాయి అంటే క్యాపిటల్ టీ ఉంది అంటే డామినేటింగ్ ఉన్నట్టే. డామినేటింగ్ ఉంది అంటే ఈ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్ బయటకు రాదు కదా, ఆ ప్లాంట్ టాల్గానే ఉంటుంది. అంటే 3 టాలే, కానీ ఇది ప్యూర్ టాలు, ఇవేమో హైబ్రిడ్ టాల్ అనమాట. అంటే ఒకటి షార్ట్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్ జీన్ కూడా ఉంది కదా. సో ఇవి హెటిరోజైగస్. దీని హోమోజైగస్ టాల్, హోమోజైగస్ షార్ట్, హెటిరోజైగస్ టాల్ ఈ రెండు. సో మొత్తం మీద టాల్ 3 ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి 3:1 అనేది బయట ఉండే మనం చూసే ఎక్స్టర్నల్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్ని బట్టి ఇచ్చే రేషియో కాబట్టి అది ఫినోటైపిక్ రేషియో. అదే మనం 1:2:1 ఎలా ఇచ్చాము, 1 ప్యూర్ టాల్, 2 ఏమో హెటిరోజైగస్ టాల్, 1 ఏమో ప్యూర్ షార్ట్. జీన్స్ కౌంట్లోకి తీసుకుని when we consider the genes and give the ratio, that is genotypic ratio. So I hope you have understood genotypic ratio and phenotypic ratio. This is given by Gregor John Mendel. Law of inheritance and law of dominance. Law of dominance ఏమో F1 జనరేషన్లో తెలుసుకున్నారు ఆయన. F2 జనరేషన్కి వచ్చేసరికి లా ఆఫ్ సెగ్రిగేషన్ అనేది he put forward to the biologists across the world. So he was considered as the father of genetics. Hope you understood, children. Read the lesson from the textbook, you can understand easily.